In this video, we're going to be talking about synthetic division. So we just went over long division, and as we saw, that can be a pretty long process to divide polynomials. Synthetic division simplifies this long division process, but it's important, this only works for when we're dividing by something that looks like this, x minus a. So that means I can't do like x squared plus 2. That would not work. I could not do that for synthetic division, only for those that have x minus a. So when we're dividing by a linear expression, x minus a, you can first write the coefficients, including zeros. So remember, for instance, if it doesn't have that squared term, you'd put 0 in standard form, and we're not going to write any variables. For the divisor, we're going to reverse the sign. So for instance, if it were x minus 2, that would mean that a is equal to 2. So you take the opposite sign of what you see. Bring down the first coefficient. Then we're going to multiply the coefficient by the divisor and add to the next coefficient. And we're going to continue step 4 through the last coefficient. So a lot of that probably doesn't make sense right now. I'm going to go ahead and go through 2 examples, and then it will make more sense to you. Okay, so we're going to divide these using synthetic division. So my first step is I want to write the coefficients, including zeros, in standard form. So I'm going to write the coefficients of what I'm dividing by across the top here. But first I'm going to look and see if I'm missing any terms, because I want this in standard form, but I also want every term represented. I say I have x cubed, x squared, but I'm missing that x term. So I'm going to rewrite this to be negative x cubed plus 4x squared plus 0x plus 9. And now I'm going to write these coefficients across the top here. So a coefficient of x cubed is negative 1. The coefficient of x squared is 4. The coefficient of x is 0. And then I have 9. So that's my first step. My next step for the divisor, I'm going to reverse the sign. So here I see that I have a minus 3, so I'm going to put a positive 3 right here. And now I'm going to go through the synthetic division process. I'm going to first put a line right here. I'll explain that in a second. And the synthetic division process is pretty simple, just some steps to remember. My first step always is to bring down this very first coefficient. So I'm going to bring down negative 1. And then to see what I write below my 4, I'm going to multiply 3 times negative 1 to get negative 3. And then I'm going to add these two numbers. So 4 plus negative 3, I get 1. And then I'm going to repeat that process. So 3 times 1, I get 3. 0 plus 3, I get 3. 3 times 3, I get 9. And then 9 plus 9, I get 18. So let's go review that. So I brought down my negative 1, and I do 3 times negative 1 to get negative 3. 4 plus negative 3 to get 1. 3 times 1 to get 3. 0 plus 3 to get 3, and so on. And so we end up with this. And now here I can go ahead and actually write out what my answer is. So the reason why I squared this off over here is that what's last over here is always going to be your remainder. So I like to start from the end and work my way to the beginning. So my remainder is 18 over what I divided by, which is x minus 3. And then from here, I'm just going to go in reverse standard form. So my last term, my standard form is always just a number, so I have 3. Then I'm going to keep adding an x as I go on. So I have 1x, and then negative 1x squared. But we don't need that 1 out in front, so I can rewrite this as negative x squared plus x plus 3 plus 18 over x minus 3. And that would be my answer. Okay, let's try another one. Here I have 3x cubed minus 2x squared plus 2x minus 5, and I will divide that by x plus 1. So here I have a plus 1, so that means I'm really putting a negative 1 here. Remember, I do the opposite. Here I'm not missing any terms. I have my x cubed, x squared, x, and 5, so I'm going to write the coefficients across. So I have 3, negative 2, 2, and negative 5. And then I'm going to block off to remember over here is going to be my remainder. And then now I'm going to go through that synthetic division process. First, I'm going to drop my 3. Negative 1 times 3, I get negative 3. Negative 2 plus negative 3, I get negative 5. And start that again. Negative 1 times negative 5, I get positive 5. 2 plus 5, I get 7. Negative 1 times 7, I get negative 7. Negative 5 plus negative 7, I get negative 12. And now to write my answer, I'm going to start last and then work myself to the beginning. And remember, I'm adding an x as I go. First, I know that negative 12 is my remainder, so I'm going to have negative 12 over my divisor, x plus 1. And then I'm going to have 7 plus, add x in there, so I have negative 5x. And then x squared, so I have 3x squared.